Hello and welcome to my channel. My name's Tina and I'm bobbing along nicely. So I've got a couple of things to talk to you about today, this Friday for my Friday sews. The first is the fabric that I bought back from Abercan the other week. I don't even remember it, but it's this one. Probably making the camera go a bit funny. It's a stable knit with ever such a slight stretch in one direction. Quite nice to work with. Didn't cost me very much, and I made the So Different Artista Dress. Now I have got to be honest, I have mixed feelings about this pattern. I really like the style of it, the style lines, but I'm afraid the sizing is really a little bit all over the place. Based on my bust measurement, which is 130 centimetres, I made their size 26, which is not a great number, but hey, but that's based on their bust measurement of 128 with a finished garment size, according to their chart, of 130. So first of all, that's not very much ease in the bust. I think I'd prefer a little bit more than 2 centimetres, but I made it in that size basically because it's the largest size that they offer. And I was a bit worried about whether it would fit or not. It's quite a quick sew. The instructions, I would say, are pretty basic, and if you are a beginner sewist, I wouldn't necessarily say that all the information is there. For example, there are some facing pieces, but at no point in the instructions do they actually mention why you might need to use a facing, or in fact how you'd actually sew it. There are no instructions for it, so bear that in mind. If you're reasonably competent and quite happy to have a go at stuff, then I would recommend the pattern because it's a nice style, but the sizing is a little bit hit and miss. I'm going to put a photo up here now, and as you can see, the dress is actually really big on me. So next time I sew it, I will make it again because I like the shape of it, and I think it's a really nice dress for particularly layering with boots and tights in winter. I think I will size down probably 2 sizes in order to make it fit me. So a win and a lose, but I will wear it. It's comfortable and it's a really quick sew, which is a great thing for adding to my autumn wardrobe, which is seriously lacking at this point in time. The other thing I want to talk to you about is the pattern I nearly didn't make. Now, being plus size, I very rarely wear trousers. I've got a couple of pairs of ready-to-wear jeans with obviously zips and fitted waists, but I've not really mastered trouser fitting. Like a lot of people I have, and my waist isn't enormous, but I do have quite a large tummy and I'm really quite self-conscious about it. But Sarah Laws of My Handmade Wardrobe very kindly added me to her vlogger team a little while ago, and the weekend sewing club patterns are the ones that we test for her and photograph and tell people about. And I wasn't going to make this month's pattern or next month's pattern because it's a pair of culottes with a fitted waist and an invisible zip. And I immediately thought, oh, that's not me. I'm not going to make them. Shan't bother. And as the month went on, I thought, do you know what? I should have a go. So I decided I would make them. I found some really nice patterned printed denim, really lightweight denim though. I was in Abercan the other week, and it didn't cost me a huge amount. Found the zip to match, got the thread, and came home and started with the pattern. Now for this one, I have made several toiles because I'm not experienced at trouser fitting, and I didn't want to cut my lovely fabric and find out that they didn't fit me. So I used this book. It's called Ahead of the Curve. It's by Jenny of Cashmerette, and it has very good instructions for making adjustments. So I looked objectively at my first toile. I made it in calico just because I could make it, draw all over it, cut it up, re-sew it, whatever. And I decided that I needed a full tummy adjustment. Now, that's not something I've ever done before. And I think, you know, adjustments, they sound complicated, don't they? Until you realise that actually if you follow the instructions like any other kind of sewing, they're not that difficult. So I followed the instructions in the book. I actually sewed up the toile at the side where the zip would be and opened it down the front seam and worked out how much of an adjustment I needed to add in. You then half that, obviously one for each side. Toiled it again and they fit round my tummy. I then made another slight adjustment in that I raised the back waist, the level of the back waist by a few centimetres, just because I tend to wear things quite high on my waist and that made me feel more comfortable. So I did make 3 toiles, but I'm so pleased that I took the time because they are so comfy. I've worn them a couple of times already. They're quite swishy because they have such a lovely flowy fabric. And I've learned a new skill, which, you know, is the whole point for me of learning to sew, is actually to push myself a little bit more. So I've gone from not thinking about making a pattern to making it. And actually they are now one of my most comfortable pieces in my wardrobe. I like them because although they're denim, they're quite a smart denim. They're much smarter than jeans. And I think there are times where I don't want to be as casual as jean. But I don't want to wear a dress or a skirt. You know, my default is dress. But I don't want to wear a skirt because then I've got to worry about petticoats or wind blowing around or whatever. So actually they are a really great item in my wardrobe, to the point I will probably be making more. So if this is something that you might be interested in, Sarah has opened up the Weekend Sewing Club again to new members. She does it at the end of the month and then closes it again so that any new members get the new pattern for the month and then all the instructions which come through every week in order to build up to a Saturday sewing session where we all get together online and make the same garment at the same time, which is really good fun. It's very low pressure, very calm, and it's lovely to chat to other people and see what they're making their garments from. I'll pop a link in the description below. I hope you've already seen my culottes and see how pleased I am with them. But it's a really lovely club to be part of. It's not terribly expensive. You get a new pattern every month. And there's a whole team of vloggers, myself included, where we make them ourselves in all sorts of different fabrics. And we show you different styling options, different pattern hacks, different ways of making them. So you've got a whole load of inspiration in the Weekend Sewing Club in the hub. The portal also has tutorials on things like zips, facings, that kind of thing. And whenever you join, you also have access to the back catalogue of patterns. So we've got quite a number now. We've got the jacket I made last month. We've got the t-shirt, the tie-sided top and dress. So there's quite a nice way of building up a little capsule wardrobe. I do know what the patterns are for the next few months, but obviously I'm not going to tell you about those just yet. But if you think you might be interested, do pop across and have a look. There's also a Facebook group as well, so we can all chat. And it's just a genuinely even lovely place to be. So go and check it out. In terms of what I'm wearing, it's actually ready to wear. It's just something I use because it goes really nice with the super comfy culottes that I'm wearing. So nothing handmade on the top here. And really annoying as a result because it's a shirt from a well-known retailer with 2 initials. And because I'm quite tall, it's not long enough. So I will get around to making my own white shirt at some point in the future. So my weekend sewing plans, I have now, having finished the culottes and the dress, I'm back to my bigger project, which is the Drafters Grid dress that I showed you the other week. I did come a little bit unstuck because I ran out of one of the fabrics. Although I checked the fabric requirements, I thought carefully, I hadn't realised that one of them was actually quilting cotton and it was too narrow, with the result that I didn't have enough. So I've been waiting for that to arrive. It's now here. I've cut the rest of the pieces. so I can continue construction, and then I'll be on to doing a whole load of top stitching because that's the way I've chosen to finish it. So hopefully in the not too distant future, I will have a new dress to share with you as well. Next week I'll be back midweek because the next Busy Bee Sewing Challenge Part 2 goes live. Part 2 is the transformation or upcycling challenge. I have a garment in mind that I want to upcycle. I have an idea about how I'm going to upcycle it or change it, but I'll explain more in a short video next week. So until then, happy sewing. Hope you all have a nice weekend wherever you are, and speak to you all soon. Bye bye.